while I've made mistakes and even bad decisions along the way, one thing that's always grounded me and centered me and always kept me going is the vision and purpose behind the vision. And so
Mm,
I challenge every single one of our franchisees to us to one, make sure they're joining this brand for the right reason. Like we have systems and vendors and a really strong Adam 19, so it's a really strong operating margins that this business provides our franchise owners. And as great as that is, and as proud of as that as we are, we really want our franchisees to join our system for one reason. All the other ones are secondary. The primary reason is to disrupt an industry, to create a whole new
mm.
category. We can't do it by ourselves. Every time we open a new market, our franchisees have to execute. All we can do is coach. They're the player.
Yo, 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 this is the Streetwise podcast, where we help you level up your game, level up your leadership, and level up your life. I'm your host, Matthew McReynolds. I'm a multi-brand franchisee, and I'm a franchise consultant, which means I help people find, launch, and build their ideal franchise business. My main goal is to help you get off of zero and become the person that your dreams need you to be. Buckle up, get your popcorn ready, let's go. Streetwise Nation, we got Ron Holt with Pink Zebra with us today. Mr. Ron, how are you doing?
Man, I'm doing great, Matthew. I'm so glad to be here. Can't wait to tell my story with everyone.
Yeah, so I know this one's going to be a quick one, which again, I have a lot of fun doing these episodes and talking to folks like you. So go ahead and tell the audience what's your title? Like what are you titled on LinkedIn if they
Sure.
looked you up? And then the company that you're building and how does that affect your day to day?
Absolutely. So I'm the founder, and I call myself that on purpose. I am coming from a 20-year, literally 2 decades experience or journey, I should say, building another brand, another home service brand called Two Maids and a Mop, from a little tiny, cleaning business in Florida to, more than 100 locations across the country. And so I was all in the weeds there, man. I mean, I everything from cleaning dirty toilets to awarding territories and you name it after that. So
Man.
it was awesome, and I loved every second of it. I really did. But in round two, I wanted to make sure that I surrounded myself with more talent, more people that would not necessarily just do the work for me, but would be able to allow me to be who I am, what the best version of myself is, which is promoting the brand, creative ideas on how to make our customer experience better, and franchisee engagement. Those are the things I really, really excel at. So my title is founder. I work a lot though. I'm not
Yeah.
kicked back and drinking mai tais. And so I enjoy everything about building a brand from just an idea into a nationwide business. And so I'm going every day hard. That just it fills me up.
I hear you. Man, tell me about the moment when you're building Two Maids and a Mop and you've seen it from your cleaning toilets, you've built this business, now you have an amazing franchise concept and you realize that there's a shift coming. Whether like did it happen organically? Did you cause the shift? Did you already know that Pink Zebra moving was right around the corner? Like break that down for me. What was that moment like for you and your journey?
Yeah. So I, over time, developed this real love affair with home services. And
Yeah.
so, not for everybody, it's blue collar as it can get, but that's the reason I love it. I love it because pretty much everyone else thinks it's ugly and hates it. But yet, when it comes time to hiring folks to clean the toilets and to move their stuff, they call moving companies and they call cleaning
Yep.
companies. So I have always thought home services were fantastic. And so I had always been looking for another opportunity, but nothing really hit me because I didn't want to just be another cookie cutter, whatever. I didn't want to be the next painting company or the next carpet cleaning company. I really wanted to be a disruptor in whatever that niche was, whatever the industry was, but I just couldn't find it. And about, I don't know, sometime around year 19 of the Two Maids journey, my mother-in-law, of all people, hired a local moving company in our headquarters, which is in Birmingham, Alabama. and it was terrible. Like, I don't know if you've hired a moving company before, but it was what you think
I'm
of.
usually the moving company when I've got a big family, man. It's usually me. It's
uh,
usually me and all my
pizza,
brother-in-laws.
pizza and beer, right?
That's right.
Well, she hired a moving company, and it was
Okay.
terrible. I mean, it was all the things you can think of, like damaged items, slow, poor delivery of the service, unprofessionalism. They laughed at her. I mean, literally laughed at her while she was
Mm.
crying. Charged her 3 times what she thought it was going to be. It was a mess. And so when that happened, I pulled up Yelp. This was my whole business research project. And so I went to 3 cities: Seattle, Miami, and Omaha. And I felt like that was the best way to sort of measure the country, and went straight to the 1-star reviews for local moving companies in each of those 3 markets. And for the most part, all of those 1-star reviews matched my mother-in-law's review in Alabama. And that's when it hit me that there's an opportunity. Like, there's a real opportunity that is yet to be disrupted, even though it's a 60-plus-year-old industry, maybe even a 100-year-old industry if you really look back to the horse and buggy days. And so I got really excited about it. So excited that I started, kicking some tires to see what opportunities are out there. What could I do? How could I pull this off? Well, obviously, I'm still the founder and CEO at the time of Two Maids, and didn't really know what I was going to do there because things were going really well. I was at the top of the mountain. Like, everything that I had dreamed about had come true. I put in
Wow.
all the hard work, right? And all of it had finally paid off after forever. And I should have been happy, should have been just like coasting, pick my feet up, golf, whatever you do, fish, all the things you do when you're rich and famous. And
I heard
so,
about those things. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But it just, none of those things really filled me. I wanted to stay busy. Like I said, I love engagement with franchise owners. I love, talking shop with our guys, and I love being creative, just coming up with a new idea. I'm the, stereotypical entrepreneur. And so, I'd sort of lost that feeling along the way. And so when I saw this opportunity in the moving industry, and I coupled that with sort of this weird feeling I was having about where I was in my other life, I said, I'm going to sell the business. I'm going to sell Two Maids, and I'm going to
Mm.
go all in on a moving company and be another startup guy all over again, which sounded
Wow.
really good. And it has been great, but it also was a complete 180 from the world I was living in. My office had a freaking treadmill in it with a unbelievable view of the city, And so I went to startup life, dealing with customers who hired us to move their stuff, all in the course of about 2 days. So it was a great
Wow.
exit, a generational exit that I
Okay.
was extremely excited about, and loved the people that I sold the business to, because I love the brand to this day. I knew they were going to treat it well, and they've proven to do that. But man, I was so excited about going back to those startup days. It was a weird fuel that maybe a lot of other people would think the opposite of, but not me. I'm a crazy entrepreneur.
Oh, that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Okay, so through building up Two Maids, you have learned home services, you've learned scaling a business, you've learned scaling a team, and you've also learned franchising at a high level. But the moving concept, you obviously had to relearn that. What was that transition like, and how did you build expertise in creating this brand new company, taking the resources that you had from the company that you built for almost 20 years that had a nice exit, but that didn't necessarily teach you what it
Right.
was to create a good moving company? Like, were there any tangible things that you could take over, and how did you fill the gaps?
So you're right. Like, on the franchise side, a lot of the vendors that we worked with our original brand just kind of transferred over to the other side.
Oh,
Obviously, they kept
nice.
working with Two Maids, but they also wanted to work with us. They believed in me and believed in the vision, and so they said, "Hey, we'll get married with you over here too." And so we had a lot of synergies that were able to connect, because again, it's home services, But we didn't know one thing about moving other than what we didn't like about it. We
Sure.
had the consumer perspective,
It's
not
a
the
great
ops.
place to start.
Right, right. And
Yeah.
so, I had a little bit of a different experience at Two Maids because, like I said earlier, I cleaned the toilets during those first few days, and I was really bad at it, but I did the work. And so I
You
was
did
able
it.
to experience it and live it and learn from it. I didn't really have the energy or stamina or desire for that fact, for that matter, to really want to do it here. Um, one, I'm just older, but two, I just felt like I really needed. I didn't want to. It took us 9 years to franchise the Two Mates brand. Obviously, I didn't
Wow.
want it to take that long, and so I knew we needed to fast track it. And so what we decided to do here, we really wanted to buy a moving business, but we really could, since we are so different than most moving companies, we really couldn't find an existing moving business anywhere in this country that was going to be able to scale with the kind of culture that we needed for it to be, for the
Yeah.
business, for it to be so customer centric. And so we said, let's just go to startup life. And so we recognized that we would make some mistakes. And so I said, we're going to spend the first 2 years just moving people in Birmingham, Alabama. We don't
Okay.
necessarily have to go to market tomorrow. Let's just get our hands, dirty and get out there and learn and screw some things up. And so that's what we did. Those first few customers here were probably not thinking we call ourselves the world's first happy moving company. I don't think they would agree with us because we really screwed it up early on here. But we also learned, and we didn't want to learn with our franchisees, obviously, so we knew we needed to go out there and just get our feet wet. And so that's what we did. We invested 2 years to just moving folks in Birmingham, creating new ideas on some things I'll talk about in a minute, to engage with our customers, but more importantly, just learning how to make money. How to get a customer, how to convert that person from a lead to a customer, and then once they're a customer, what to do to service them and create a great experience. And so those seem like basic things, but it takes time to really learn those things.
Yo, 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 thanks for listening this far. It's at this point in the episode that I want to talk about Streetwise franchising, teaching, training, building. Streetwise franchising. As a franchise consultant, it's my job, it's my absolute pleasure, and it's my mission to help aspiring entrepreneurs find, launch, and build their ideal business. I've been a franchise owner for almost a decade. I know what it means to struggle. I know what it means to build a team. If you're ready to get off of zero, if you're ready to build something for yourself, visit streetwisefranchising.com. Let's get the conversation started. Don't wait until tomorrow to build your future. It starts today. Streetwise Franchising. Stay humble, stay hungry, stay streetwise. Let's get back to the episode. Man, so a couple things before I ask my next question that I loved that you just said. So from firsthand experience as a franchisee of Mosquito Joe, that was my very first franchise brand. I did every single treatment for the first 5 years before we started building out the team. And now I don't do any. I've got the technicians that go out. And so I understand building up and getting your hands in. And every franchise owner or candidate I talk to, I encourage to get their hands into the business in some way. And when we invested in our second brand, I also wanted to scale it much quicker. And I personally couldn't get my hands on the paintbrush in the same way that I had the pest control stuff in the beginning. So I resonate with that. And I love what you said of building the business before turning it into a franchise, because you don't want to build it on the backs of your first franchisees necessarily. You want to build it on your own back so you can truly support them. So I commend you, and I love that. So the question is, what does that mean to be the world's first happy moving company? Like, what actually does make you guys unique? How did you fix the system that you saw that was broken in the moving space?
All right, so this is going to be a really fun part of the conversation.
Yeah,
So
come on.
our tagline is "We make moving fun," and
Come on.
it sounds like you have physically moved either yourself or family members in the past, and
Got a strong
more than
back.
likely
Yes,
it
sir.
wasn't that fun. But
No.
so how do we make it fun? And so it's still manual labor at the end of the day. So I can't promise if you're an employee anywhere in our network that it's literally going to be fun. But to our consumers, to the customers who hire us, we think it can be a more enjoyable, positive, fun experience. And so we have multiple phases, really just three, before, during, and after a move, that we really pinpoint on what we're going to do to engage with our customers and make moving fun. Like, we try to put on a show. And so we've got a few sort of trademarks I'll kind of talk about. I don't want to pigeonhole us and just say we just do these three things, but these are the three things that we're probably most known for. One is the free dinner offer. We literally call every one of our customers the night before the move or the day before the move and offer them a free meal. And so, very simple gesture. A lot of people could copy us and just totally rip it, which is fine. Go ahead and do it. somebody's got to be the world's second happy moving company.
There you go.
But we offer free food, and it's not just pizza. A real meal to all of our customers every night, every time before the move begins. It helps get the relationship started off in a way that's not transactional. All of a sudden, now we're real people, and we're there to help them. We're proving to them that we're trying to go the extra 9 yards, and then that's hopefully going to tell them that they've hired the right company. Like, there's reduce my anxiety. Things are going to be okay, because these guys wouldn't feed us for free if they weren't serious about making this service great.
It's hard
And
to give a bad Google review to people that are giving you food. It's filling your bellies. It's really
that's true.
hard thing to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
A funny story on that, by the way. We had a return customer, a repeat customer, who, there's a lot of those folks, by the way. A lot of people move a lot more than you think. And so someone hired us and just wrote the most amazing 5-star review ever. And of course, talked about the free food and how fantastic and unexpected it was. Well, we're not perfect. And apparently the second time, for whatever reason, we dropped the ball and we didn't offer that. We showed up, we did everything we were supposed to do. Like, it was affordable. Like, it was a fun experience, but we didn't feed them the night before. We got a 1-star review because we didn't feed them the night before. And so it is unexpected for most people, but once you raise the bar, it proves to everyone listening that you got to keep doing it, because now you've set expectations with the customers. So, funny story, but it was also a learning lesson for us.
Wow.
So that's one thing we do. It's probably the most well-known thing that we do in terms of CX, customer experience. Some other things we do: we play music during the move. Like, literally in every room, we have what we call a happy playlist. It's all, of course, PG, and everybody knows the words because they're sing-along songs that people have heard forever and ever. They're just happy, fun songs. Simple thing. It cost us literally absolutely no money to pull that off. But what we've seen happen, I don't know if you've moved yourself, it sounds like, but oftentimes when you hire a moving company, it's weird. It's silent. The movers have some buds on, and maybe some hoodies, and nobody's seeing eye to eye with people and just doing their thing. Meanwhile, you own the place, and these strangers are in your home for potentially 8 hours or more. It's weird and awkward, and so we just play music, and that simple act brings people closer together than you could ever imagine. We've had people sing together, dance together, at the very least, just hum the song together, But it's sort of like going to a restaurant when you have that white noise ambiance with some light music playing versus the one where it's weird and silent. It changes everything about the service itself, and the food quality even tastes different to you. So we play music, and it's fun, So we have a lot of fun with that. Third thing we do, we leave a surprise box behind full of goodies, all sorts of like normal things like candy and chocolates and stuff like that. But we also have a uniqueness to it. There's usually a personalized gift of some sort left behind. And so if you're a Yankees fan living in Houston, Texas, that's kind of different. That's weird, right? You don't see a lot of Yankee fans in Houston. Well, we'd learned that about the customer and try to use that to our advantage. And so we'd throw some Yankee swag in there and tell people, whatever, go Yankees. And so that's, again, simple thing, maybe even cost just $10 or so. But that simple gesture usually connects us with the customer in a unique way, in a positive, unique way. And it makes people smile. It makes them feel like they're not just another customer, right? So, again, I could tell you a lot more than just those three things, but those are sort of the hallmarks of our brand and kind of what people know us for the most. We love it. We love making moving fun. We love making something that nobody thinks should be fun and everybody expects to be horrible. We love turning that upside down and truly creating a happy moving experience.
Oh, that's really cool. And I think there's a lot of value in that, and just taking ownership over the space and building into an environment. And I think at times where, my in-laws and we have hired movers for some of those bigger ticket items. And, for somebody who's been in the space, like I find myself often offering like, hey, we're eating. Do you guys want some food? Do you guys need some water? Yeah. But for the company itself to be the ones providing that, I mean, that's special, man. And you're right. I've never heard of that before, interacting with you guys. So tell me about the franchisee side as you guys are kind of growing and expanding this thing out. What are you seeing from the franchisees where they truly appreciate, like, maybe what systems, what processes are you helping those guys out, and maybe explain to me the avatar of individual that comes in that really loves working with your brand and owning it
Absolutely.
themselves.
So, we know a lot about home service franchising. Been doing it for a long time. I was
Yeah,
fortunate. When I say fortunate, extremely lucky to bring someone very talented from Two Maids with me over here to Pink Zebra Moving. And so Lauren Bowen is our president. She is a female powerhouse in a really
let's go.
heavily male-dominated industry. She makes all the magic come to life here, and she works 10 times harder than me and everyone else. And so she has been instrumental. She was kind of grew with me in home service franchising at Two Maids and learned the trade kind of alongside me. We had to kind of learn it on the job. And so, very fortunate to be able to bring her here because she puts it all together. She makes sure our people do their job, and she makes sure our franchisees execute the model in the right way. And so, we work really hard to provide really high level, personalized support. I mean, I'm sure over the course of today, even, we've had multiple direct phone calls with our franchise owners about everything from the trade itself, like how to move something, to much higher level things. Like what can I do to trim a percentage off my bottom line. And so all of those things are really support mechanisms that we've learned over the 20 years of being in home service franchising. And so while we are a startup, right now we have we're just today, in fact, fortunate to award our 51st. So we were at 49 yesterday. We're at 51
Let's
units
go.
across the 50 threshold. But we're still pretty much considered an emerging franchise brand. But we don't have the talent or the experience to for you to feel like that's who we are. We have been in this home service franchising space for literally 2+ decades now, and so we've seen it in all. We know what the startup pains look like for a new franchisee that's never owned a business. We know what it's like for someone that's never dealt with blue collar employees before. We know what it's like for you to live that first year experience as a
Man,
franchisee. So we challenge our franchisees to beat our expectations, but we also understand that not everyone is prepared to be a top 1% performer. And so we feel like we have great technology and support mechanisms to really pull that off. Our avatar is very interesting because it is actually a lot different than what we thought it would be. When we were first building out the original brand at Two Maids, it was very standard. The 40 to 50-year-old corporate exec male for the most part. Every now and then someone was outside of that, but 75% of our franchisees sort of fit in that channel. And that's what we thought would happen here.
sure.
This, no, why I can't tell you the reason behind it, but this is actually attractive to a much younger demographic for whatever reason. I mean, we've had a lot of folks in their 20s who've never owned a business before, who just don't like the idea of working in corporate America, even if they don't work inside the office, even if they're working remote. It's still this rat race they don't want to be a part of. And they are looking into the future and they see, a version of themselves they don't really want to see, and so they want to get in front of that and do something about it. And franchising offers them an easier way, a safer way to pull that off versus just
Come
going
on.
out and doing it on their own. So we've got sort of two avatars. We've got this really young entrepreneur who has zero probably management experience, but a lot of gusto, a lot of drive and energy, and just got the hustle, down. And then we still have that traditional 40 to 50-year-old corporate exec who's sick of it, but has the capital to do something, So we talk to both of them. Typically, that 40 to 50-year-old is wanting more of a semi-absentee franchise role, which is fine. We offer that route. And then the 20-somethings are usually looking to go all in. They want to get their hands dirty and hire people and fire people, and do all the things.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I resonate. I'm holding on to that younger generation, man. I still identify that, but I'm slowly getting up to the 40 plus range. I'm not there yet though. So I resonate, man. And I'm attracted to it. I think it's really cool. I love the sound of what you guys are doing. Let me ask you this as we get close to the end. where does the franchisor-franchisee relationship, where does it fall apart? And how do you specifically work to maintain and protect the integrity of that relationship?
So great question. It's one of the questions I asked myself before I ever switched from corporate to franchise.
Mm,
At Two Maids,
come on.
we had 12 corporate stores before we ever franchised the model. And mainly because I was scared to death of having combative, unhealthy relationships with franchisees. I'd heard franchisees who
Yeah,
say, "Oh, I'm doing great, but it's not because of
it
that franchisee,"
happens.
you know? And so I have always chosen to really engage with our franchisees on a very consistent basis to let them know that we're not perfect. We don't have the answer to everything, even, but we are on your side, and we are here to be your trainer, your support mechanism, your coach, your consultant, your friend. Like, we want to be all of those things, and so we think our job is to do everything from have the right vendors in place that are vetted, that have preferred pricing to give you the best chance for early success. Technology is another thing that we think is a huge part of what our job is, to make sure that we support our franchisees. And then there's some subjective things, just understanding the numbers behind the business and what actions need to occur if something, is out of line. And that's when our coaching part kind of takes over. And so we try to stay as connected. We know right now it's easy to do that. We have 19 units open right now, 19 franchises open. I know the names of every one of those folks along with their wife and kids,
Awesome.
so
Yeah.
it's easy to be personal right now. And so the challenge is, can we do that when we have 100 plus? And so that's our goal. That's our mission. We are trying to grow with. We want to take over the industry. We want to grow in every market in this country, but we would also love to do it with fewer franchisees. When we had 100 plus franchises at Two Maids, that was from 90 franchise owners, and so we didn't sell a lot of double territory. It was usually single territory
Oh, wow.
deal. And
Okay.
so here it's different. It's anywhere from 2 to 5 territories at a time, and so that gives us
Gotcha.
the opportunity to have larger tracts of land for our franchisees to sort of build an empire. But it also allows us to have less conversations, less relationships, so it's easier for us to be better at our job.
Love that. No, that's cool, man. So last question, I'll let you go. I'd love to have you back and really dive into like building out and all the things. But
Sure.
whether you're speaking into an individual that is thinking, should I try out for the team? Or maybe they want to franchise their business, or maybe they want to be a franchisee, they want to leave their job and they're struggling to get off of zero. How do you encourage that person based on your experience and what you've seen over the last couple decades?
So I challenge all of our franchise owners to sort of think like me. And not that I'm perfect, I'm not. But while I've made mistakes and even bad decisions along the way, one thing that's always grounded me and centered me and always kept me going is the vision and purpose behind the vision. And so
Mm,
I challenge every single one of our franchisees to us to one, make sure they're joining this brand for the right reason. Like, we have systems and vendors and a really strong Item 19, so it's a really strong operating margins that this business provides our franchise owners. And as great as that is, and as proud of as that as we are, we really want our franchisees to join our system for one reason. All the other ones are secondary. The primary reason is to disrupt an industry, to create a whole new
mm,
category. We can't do it by ourselves. Every time we open a new market, our franchisees have to execute. All we can do is coach. They're the player, and so we want people to really believe they're a part of that. I feel like if they really believe they're a part of that, it makes everything about what they do easier for them. It's those bad days aren't as bad because you're doing it for a reason. There's a purpose behind every single task. The headaches that you deal with as a new business owner may not feel that big a deal if you know where you're going. So we help people craft a vision for their future, like a real tangible vision for their future that's not silly. It's not just fancy words
yeah.
that you print in the lobby. It's words that mean something to them, and then we attach that to our brand's vision, which is to create a whole new category called happy moving. And so, you when you do something on purpose, then you usually do it well, even if it takes you a while to get there. At some point, you do it right and you do it well. And so we challenge ourselves and our franchisees to just have purpose behind their work, And usually the rest kind of takes care of itself.
Let's go. Well, Mr. Ron, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on. Please come back. You are more than welcome. I mean, this was awesome to the listener. If you want to learn more about Pink Zebra Moving, holler at me. I can introduce you to the team. Until next time, stay humble, stay hungry, stay streetwise. Peace. All right, everybody. That's a wrap. Thank you so much for making it to the end. Hey, if this episode added any value to your life at all, please like it, share it, give me a 5-star review. It's the only way that this show is going to gain traction and help more people achieve their dreams. If you're ready to start your franchise journey, visit streetwisefranchising.com. Let's set up a time to talk. Hit me up on LinkedIn. Until next time, stay humble, stay hungry, stay streetwise. Peace.